Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel for a brand new video on DiRT 2.0. So yeah, I've actually wasted a week so that my YouTube feed would be clear, so that my song that came out yesterday on Saturday was actually clean, so that people would pay attention to my channel. But you know, I have all these videos recorded, don't you worry about that, and I decided to start posting gaming videos again. Starting off with this DiRT 2.0 Colin McRae scenario mode, which I'm really like that. I really like the scenario mode so far, and I'm looking forward to finishing it in probably 2 more episodes. I'm trying to finish in each episode a sector or section of this scenario mode. So if you remember, on the previous episode we started out with the second section. We've completed the Wales and the Scottish event, and now we actually have the Swedish event, which includes 2 stages in it. So it was a pretty big event, and that's why I left it for this episode. So we're driving the Subaru Legacy RS, and the car is actually very nice. I really like this car, and it's probably more enjoyable than the 1995 Impreza in my opinion. The Legacy just feels great, and this is the first time I'm driving it on the snowy stages of Sweden. I'm traditionally pretty good in the snow, because you can slide the car low. It feels like gravel, but with more slides and a little bit more freedom on how you're gonna position the car on its turn. So I've actually really enjoyed snow stages, and it's a bit of a shame that Sweden is actually a DLC on this game. Whereas on DiRT 1 it was not a DLC, so it's called Master Things. They've put Sweden as a DLC out on this game, and it's something like you can't even ignore from not buying. Like, Sweden is a vital part on the rally game because it's the only snowy location in the entire game, so you can't really just say, oh, I'm not gonna buy that. You gotta buy it.
On tight 5 left, 100, 6 left, and 6 left, 5 over crest, 50, 3 right, tightens over crest, and dip, 70.
The objective for this is to actually finish second overall. We're currently leading, despite a few mistakes here and there. Overall, we've been having a pretty good stage so far.
2 left long, into short 5 right, opens 6 extra long, 50. Crest and jump, 80, 6 right long, 100, keep right of a jump, into flat left, 70, 6 right of a...
Oh, that's a mistake! Oh god, how many rolls are we gonna have? I think I've lost count. Engine's on again. But yeah, that was a big roll there. Of course, that's going to cost us the victory here on this stage, but doesn't mean it's going to cost us also the second position, so I shouldn't really worry. The car's working fine, doesn't have a lot of damage. We're now 7 seconds behind Steams, so probably a stage win is not possible, but the objective could still be possible.
Jumps and 6 right, extra long, 60, flat right, into flat left, 50, bumps into 5 right, opens extra long, end of a crest, to keep middle of a bumps.
By the end of the stage we've actually closed down the gap, but unfortunately it was not going to be enough to finish ahead of Steams. He had a 614.6 and I had a 619.0. Only a 4.3 second gap. We still closed the margin from the lead, but it's not going to be first position. It didn't really matter. At the end of the day, we had a few huge crashes there and some fails here and there. The car, it doesn't look the happiest, but we still got that second stage to go. And yeah, the gap was actually 5 seconds from Steams. We ended up 4th in the overall stage. And yeah, we had the second stage now to go, which was much shorter. So on this one, there was not a lot of time to make mistakes, if that makes sense. And I could also see the class leader, which is putting you more pressure when you see like the time of the class leader. Then that puts you a little bit of pressure, because you know they have to push a little bit more there, lift off the throttle there. You know, you have an idea of what to do. Whereas when you don't really check out any of the times, It's really down to your driving and putting out your best performance all in all, including safety, taking a risk obviously, and yeah. So I suggest you, whenever you like practicing for something, don't look at the times that others set, just look at you and improving your driving all in all in every single corner and all that. But enough talking, we were done with this at 2.31.8. I told you that was a very, very short stage and also very high speed stage, and that was actually the successful 10. I didn't redo the whole event, didn't crash at all on this stage, so we had a very, very successful stage. We ended up first ahead of Steams with a gap of 4 seconds. Unfortunately, that was not enough to win the actual rally, only by 6/10, but we finished second, 1.6 seconds ahead of the guy on third position, so that meant we were actually going to successfully complete another event on that second section of the scenario mode of Colin McRae. And the next one was in Scotland to finish first overall, despite a 2-second time penalty being applied to your final post stage. So Colin was given a 2-second time penalty for having to time control too late. Colin was one of 3 McRaes to race at this event, not an uncommon sight on the national stage at this time. It is a pretty uncommon sight nowadays to see the same surname on an event 3 times. It's crazy. Imagine it's crazy. Imagine 3 signs racing in a Spanish International Car Championship or something like that. It would be crazy. But yeah, I feel like that's pretty amazing. I really want to go on and check that out. This is once again around Scotland. In my opinion, Scotland stages, the Scottish stages at the moment, are just amazing. They're probably one of the best additions of this DLC. To combine with the Subaru Legacy, they just feel amazing. That's also one of the reasons I really want to try out the Subaru S4, if I'm correct. I really want to try this out. I haven't tried it yet. Probably it's going to be on the 3rd section of this scenario mode, because it's also the cover of the 3rd section. This stage has been going pretty well so far. It's been pretty close between me and the class leader. And remember, we have to finish this stage with a 2-second gap ahead of the class leader. So that's why I'm pushing quite a lot, as you can see. I feel like Scotland has massively improved my driving. Trying to perfect some of the stages has really improved my driving. I learned how to turn earlier, where the braking zones are, and it's already down to practice, as I've realized, because you have to really understand the car and the stages at the same time. Sorry, my voice sounds a little bit raspy. It's just I have a bit of a throat thing going on lately, and no, it's not Corona. I'm feeling fine. Don't worry. I haven't been outside of form for too long, so don't worry about that.
60, left tightens into 6 right of a jump past junction, 60, 6 left, 80, keep right of a jump, into 5 right, very long, tightens 4 long, logs to keep middle of a crest, and 6 left of a dip, 30, keep right of a crest, neat 40, caution, 6 left, very long, tightens 4 of a dip, opens to keep middle of a very big crest, 80. Double crest, 50, 3 right, tightens of a crest, 50, 4 left long, 120 over bumps, 6 right, tightens of a finish, 120.
That final sector was loads of fun, I have to admit. That was crazy. You saw how fast we were going through there, and on the left and on the right there were also logs stressing me out that I could go onto them anytime soon with that kind of speed I was carrying. But that was a win here on this stage with a 9-second gap from Kinley, who was the Scottish guy behind us with a Lancia Delta. That meant that we actually won that event here in our country, Scotland, Colin McRae's home country, and that was another successful event. Next up we had 3 finish stages, and the thing about those stages I'm going to tell you right now, I didn't actually record my successful runs. For some weird reason the recording stopped, and I didn't record the successful runs of Finland and the first stage of the New Zealand event, which was the next one. So somehow the recording just stopped, so I had to give you some footage from this. These are not my best runs, just saying. This is actually a failed run around Finland. It had 3 stages, so it was a very tough event. With that engine mount problem you had. But still, I succeeded and I made it on another turn, which is not this one. But you can still enjoy some footage of me driving around the huge jumps of Finland, I guess.
50, the engine seems down on power. Keep left of a jump, 80, dip. And keep left of a big jump, 80, 6 right long of a crest, 60. Slow dip to keep left of a crest, 50, turn square right. Opens, 50. 6 middle of a crest, into 5 right, tightens of a crest, jump, 80. Flat right of a crest, jump long, 50, crest, and 5 left, extra long, opens of a crest, 100. Flat right of a crest, 80, keep middle of a big jump, slow 80, turn 3 right. Opens 6, extra long of a crest, 150 of a bumps, to keep middle of a jump, 50, early 5 left of a crest, 60, 6 right of a crest, extra long, 200 of a finish, keep middle of a crest.
Lost the control of the car here on the final corner, but we're still gonna finish that stage. What can I say about Finland? Beautiful location, so many high-speed jumps. It just feels crazy. For me, like Finland, which is, I feel like it's once again a DLC on this game, fully worth it. Like these guys on Codemasters, they've put some of the most entertaining stages of the game on DLC. I can't like say don't buy this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a DLC worth its money. But still, that was a pretty good stage. Very distant. Unfortunately, it wasn't my successful run. But still, I want to show you some footage from Finland because it's really worth it. You can see, that's what I love about DiRT 2.0, the high speed action that it has around stages like Scotland, USA, Finland, you know, Wales. I feel like that's what DiRT 2.0 gives you. Whereas WC8 gives you a more technical side of things, like, not technical, it gives you like those low speed drama in Turkey, Argentina, on all stages. There's some very technical parts on all stages on WCA that make you actually adore the thing about slowly driving around the stage, taking the maximum risks also. On like low speed corners, trying and find the maximum speed out of each corner. That's where both games win. Like, I feel like both games have the positives and negatives. You can't really argue that. That was a mistake here, for anyone wondering, and that's probably the mistake that costed me. Yeah, that was a mistake. I actually got a punch after that, and that was the end of this event, and I had to redo that whole thing again, as you can see. But yeah, all in all, because I've been getting a lot of dislikes on the WRC8 is better than DiRT 2.0 video. It is on some parts, it is, but on some other parts, like DiRT 2.0 is better. But I don't think there's a better game. I feel like if you're a rally fan, you've got to enjoy both games. You are going to enjoy both games. There's no way you're not going to enjoy WRC8 on the parts that I told you that you would enjoy, and there's no way that you're not going to enjoy the fast driving and the majority of cars that this game, the wide range of cars that this game offers. It's crazy, you know. But either way, that was it from Finland. We've succeeded, but not on those efforts. And the next event in New Zealand was win the event to take our first international victory. Combining one of the most difficult and treacherous locations on the calendar with the best drivers of the era, Colin certainly had his work cut out for him at this international event. So this is the first international event that Colin McRae has ever won. Unfortunately, I didn't record the first stage, and this actually is the second stage of this event when I realized that my recording has actually stopped. So mistakes like this happen, obviously, guys. If you are a YouTuber, you're gonna understand me. But either way, I decided to leave plenty of footage from this stage since I didn't leave a lot from the first one. So I'm gonna let you enjoy the driving because that was a hell of a stage around New Zealand and I really enjoyed it.
4 left long, tightens 3. Into 4 right long, opens. Into 4 left long, opens. Into 5 right, slow 30, open hairpin left. Into open hairpin right. Opens 30. 4 right long, opens of a crest. Into 5 left long of a crest. Into slow, 2 right tightens. Into 1 left. 2 right tightens. Left tightens. Into 2 right long, opens 30. 3 right long. Into 5 left and 3 right long, tightens of a crest. Into 1 left. Into 1 right tightens. Into open hairpin left. Into 2 right tightens. Opens long of a crest. 30. Open hairpin left. Into 1 right. 30. 6 left of a crest. 30. Open hairpin left. Into 2 right. Into 5 left. Into 3 right long. 30. 3 right long. Opens of a crest. Into 1 left. Into caution. 2 right. Tightens 1. Into 5 left, opens of a crest. Into don't cut, 2 right tightens. 2 left. Into 3 right, 30. 6 right. Into 5 left. And 2 right tightens. Into 1 left. Opens, into 3 left. Into 3 right. 30.
I bet you have enjoyed the stage as I've enjoyed it. Like, I've enjoyed the stage so much. It probably was one of my best stages so far until this corner. That was my first actual mistake. But it was just a beautiful stage all in all. Like, an 819.0. Like, what a crazy stage that was. Second stage, probably didn't even win, I feel like. I feel like I didn't win this stage, but it was such an enjoyable stage. Just the AI was that a little bit fast. Yeah, I didn't win, as you can see. I ended up 4th overall. Not a huge gap, only 7 seconds behind the leader. But overall, we were still first with a gap of 6 seconds ahead of Thomas. Yeah, we were about to win our first international event going into this final stage. And yeah, we just had to finish 6 seconds ahead of Thomas, probably win this stage to secure things. Yeah, I had a similar performance. It was also a shorter stage, so that made things a little bit easier for me. So yeah, we just had to drive around New Zealand once again. The thing about New Zealand is don't overdo things. You know, you have to find the braking zones and slide as much as you can into certain corners. Improve the flow of the car, like the flow of how you're driving, and you know, don't over push the car. Like if I over pushed this corner, I would have run wide, so that would have changed things massively. As you can see, I've pushed a little bit more there, and the car just blocked the front wheel. So it's really down to stabilizing your game with the throttle and the brake. So don't go too early on the throttle, don't go too late on the brakes. That's just my view on it. As you can see, you can actually push the brakes a little bit more, but you will actually get that as you drive and drive and drive and drive and drive. Like, you're not gonna be able to over push the car straight away from the beginning. So start off slowly, and then you're gonna build up the pace as you start practicing more and more.
50, 6 right long of a crest tightens, into 5 left long of a crest tightens, and 6 right, into into 6 left long, tightens 4 over crest. To crest, into 3 right long, opens 80. At middle of a crest, 80. Slow, keep right into narrow, 6 left long, 50. Turn 1 left, don't cut. 50. 60. Flat long crest, 30. 60. Flat long crest, 30 over finish.
End of the stage, and
To stop.
I feel like the car could have just gave up there. I couldn't really stop. There was no way I could stop. I was carrying a lot of speed. I had to lift off the throttle before the finish line, you know, to not crash there. But yeah, we just completely lost the front end of the car there. That paid off. You can see if I left off the throttle there, I wouldn't have won that stage. But either way, we've won the rally, first place with an 8-second gap. That was a pretty decent stage here at the end, but it was a short mine, was not a very challenging one, so I dominated that. Next up, we had a Wales stage from 1993. Dealing with an issue with your engine, finished the stage in under 6 minutes and 45 seconds. And in real life, due to engine troubles, Colin was unable to finish this event. The harsh Wales weather meant slippery surfaces played havoc with the drivers. So that was pretty much all about it. Colin McRae couldn't make it. Can we make it? And also we're driving a different car. We're driving the Subaru Impreza from 1995. So I bet you can understand that from the engine sound already. It sounds a little bit more... It doesn't sound as interesting as the Legacy. The Legacy has a little bit... has a bit more hard of an engine sound. Like the engine sound is harder on the Legacy. This is a little bit more easy, if that's a correct word. But yeah, I still like this car. It's a very like stabilized car. This car feels like if you drive it the first time, you will feel like you've been driving it for 100 years or something. Like that's the good thing about this car. But is it as enjoyable as the Legacy? I wouldn't say that. The Legacy is more enjoyable, and it feels like you're carrying more speed with the Legacy. Whereas with this car, I highly doubt you were gonna make any mistakes with this car. It just feels like the perfect rally car. That was a very close event actually. It was probably one of the toughest events. This is my successful run, obviously. I'm not going to show you all the failed runs I had, because that is going to make the video around an hour or so. But yeah, as you can see, a lot of high-speed corners, and the class leader was very close to us. The class leader had something like a 6.38, and I had to do a 6.45, sub 6.45. So could I do that? I had to be very close to class leader, so that's why I pushed a lot around this stage.
Slow 80, 6 right over crest, 60, turn unseen hairpin left. Opens up hill, 100. 70, 6 right over crest and jump. 100 over jumps, 5 left. Opens over crest long, tightens slow crest, open hairpin right. Opens. And 5 right of a crest, 30, 4 right of a crest, jump, opens 100, flat crest, 100, bump to middle of a big jump, 40, downhill, 4 right long, tightens of a crest, 70, 6 left tightens, into 3 left long, through posts, tightens 2, long of a crest, 80.
We lost some time there at the end of this, in the middle of the stage. We had plenty of red sectors, and that's due to the engine mount, if I'm correct. Like the engine didn't really feel right, and that was the first time I realized that yeah, the engine doesn't feel right. I still tried to push as much as I could. Broke a little bit later, got into the throttle earlier. I tried to over push the car to secure myself that sub 6:45 time, and I feel like, as you can see, green sector there, only 4.6 seconds behind the leader. And by the end of the stage, Lieutenant actually had a 6:33, and across the finish line I had a 6:38, which was just about enough to complete this event. So that was a fantastic event. Go out and try it. Like that stage around Wales was just insane. And this is our car. As you can see, no damage at all. It feels like the car hasn't touched any walls or anything, and it hasn't really touched any walls. So we succeeded. We completed this event. We've achieved that sub 6:45 time. And next up we had a single stage around Monte Carlo. Starting on the final stage, finishing in the top 10, beating the Italian crew that are in hot pursuit. So in Monte Carlo is one of the toughest locations for rallying in the world. Colin managed a top 10 finish against the more experienced crew in the Lancia Delta HF Integrale in 1994. So we'll probably need to take even 1 point out of this rally. That's what Colin did probably against such a tough competition around here, because Lancia theoretically had more experience in rallying than Subaru. I feel like Lancia is still the most successful rallying team in the history of the sport. I feel like they've got the most championship than any other manufacturer. Then I feel like it's Citroën, and then it's Subaru. I'm not correct. I don't know if I'm correct. I'm just saying. I feel like Lancia is the most successful team in the sport, but that ended up being a very easy event. As you can see, the class leader obviously is miles ahead of me. It's not really that it's possible to drive like that around here. I don't even know if that's possible, but the air was just out of this world around here. And now, as you can see, it's the ice section around here, so you have to be very careful here under braking. I'm not. Run wide there. Damage limitations, but yeah, on the ice section you have to be very careful under braking. Lift off the throttle first and then brake slightly and methodically as you're moving into the hairpin. So that's my only advice. I'm not really a master around ice, so I can't really give you the best of advices, but it only has that slight part. And this is the final corner. It's very slippery around here due to the ice. And around the final corner, that's going to be 8th position, and it was actually a successful run. We made it ahead of the Italian crew into that top 10. So that was actually a very, very good stage. Really enjoyable. The car still has no damage. I love looking at this Subaru Impreza that has no damage at all. 8th position. The Italian crew was actually Ravelli with the Lancia Delta, and we were 8 seconds ahead of him after this stage. So we completed this event, and yeah. Fuck. So yeah, the game crashed. I had to redo the whole event eventually. Even though I completed it, I had to redo the whole event. So either way, we've completed that event. For anyone wondering, I don't know why the game crashed. It's probably the second time that it has ever crashed in like 1 year that I've had this game for. I don't know why this happened, but just a quick update. The game is free on PS4 with the PS Plus of April. So go buy like a 1 month subscription to PS Plus and you're gonna have DiRT 2.0 for free. And Uncharted 4, but I don't know if anyone cares on this channel about Uncharted 4. I just wanted to say about DiRT 2.0. So this event here in Greece was consisted of 3 stages where you had to... The objective was to not get heavy damage on the car. Let me tell you, I've spent 1.5 hours doing this event. I had to redo that thing all the time. This is like my 6th try or something around here. I don't know. At some point I was like, okay, I give up. I'm gonna do this tomorrow because I had enough. Greece is probably the toughest stages. The toughest location on this game. I'm not joking with you. Argentina is nothing compared to Greece. It's nothing. And also the co-driver notes are just not really on point around here. You have to be very careful. Like he gives you a left 5-hander. And you have to actually lift up the throttle. It's not a flat out. So you have to really watch out around Greece. I know it's my home rally, but it's still, I don't really like it because it's so challenging. It's so challenging. And no matter how much training I did around here in order to complete this event, I just couldn't do it. Fortunately for me, despite the mistakes I made, I didn't have a lot of damage. And the only damage was like a light bodywork damage. And this here, this moment, was where I completely lost my breath. Thank God that didn't give me a lot of damage. I used to make that mistake all the time around here because I wouldn't keep on the left after the crest and I would completely crash the car. The car looks fine. Thankfully, it didn't have a lot of damage, and my times were also pretty decent. I didn't have a heavy damage, so I completed this event after so much time on this event. Like, I spent probably 1.5 hours doing this event. So yeah, this is really gonna be annoying for you, the Greece event, unless you can actually go very slowly. I didn't really want to drive slowly. You know, I feel like that's a bit of I was taking the risk out of this stage. So you could actually finish last, go with third gear on the gearbox all the stage around, but that's not really enjoyable, I guess. So I had to redo that thing a lot of times in order to succeed that. But around Argentina right now, and a lot of you have been saying the Argentinian stages are the same as WC8. Let me tell you, they are not. They aren't the same. The WC8 stages in Argentina feel completely different, and I'm still entitled to this opinion. Don't ever like DM me again or comment on my video. Bro, you're talking about this stage is like it's the first time you're driving them. It's literally the same on DiRT 2.0. It's not the same. Stop hating on WC8. You know, it has better stages on the technical part. So obviously around Argentina, it's more challenging on WC8. I'm not saying this is not enjoyable on DiRT 2.0, but it's not as tough as on WC8. But yeah, I'm gonna let you enjoy my driving around here, because the stage is actually pretty beautiful. Let's just say that.
5 right long, opens 80. Bumps and jump into 6 left. Into slow, 6 right, very long of a crest. Tightens, hairpin right, don't cut. 50. Crest and 3 left, small cut into 4 right. 50. Turn, opens, tightens, hairpin right, tightens. Into 1 left, tightens. Opens long, into turn, 1 right, don't cut. Into 2 left long, tightens, opens. Into 2 left long, tightens 1. Into 1 right long, tightens hairpin right. 30. 1 left long. Into 6 left, sudden hairpin right. Opens. 4 right long of a crest bump. Caution 30. Into 4 right long of a crest.
That stage was loads of fun, and yeah, it was actually a very challenging stage, but I'm gonna say it again, not as challenging as the WC8 ones. You have to try them out. If you haven't tried them out already, try them out. That was actually a very nice stage. I achieved the time. The objective was to have a 6:42 sub 6:42 lap time, and I had a 6:37. I had loads of fun driving around Argentina. It just felt amazing with that car. And the final event of this section of the scenario mode was actually in 1994. Colin managed to take an incredible victory against his rival on this high-speed Kiwi roads. It was an easy win, with Colin taking the victory by a relatively narrow margin against his Finnish rival. So that was the final event. I had to win a rally here in New Zealand around the Kiwi roads, as they are told. Like, you know, I actually learned last year that the New Zealanders are called Kiwis. Like, I didn't know that, and because my admin on the Discord server, Saboom, which actually, I think he has a YouTube channel, but he doesn't really post so much. He's actually from New Zealand. He's like, everybody was calling him Kiwi, and I wasn't like, I couldn't understand that. I was like, was that a fruit or something? But no, actually New Zealanders are called Kiwis. that was something I learned last year. But that was the final stage once again around New Zealand. Had loads of fun around New Zealand. Once again, I feel like the more I drive around New Zealand, the more I find out about more tricks and tips to drive around New Zealand at full speed.
Don't cut, tightens 2. Into cut, maybe 4 right. 30. Don't cut, 4 left. Into 5 right. 20. 4 left, into slow, 2 right, very long. Opens over crest, into 4 left, slow 20, keep right over crest, turn unseen, open hairpin left. Right over crest, into 5 left, 30, 4 left long tightens, into 6 right, and 6 left, into 2 right tightens, into 2 left tightens, into 4 right, opens over crest, into 6 left long, into 5 right long, tightens 3. Into 5 left, don't cut, and keep right over 30, 6 left over crest long, tightens 3, don't cut, into 1 right, into don't cut 3 left, 20, 6 right, into slow 1 left tightens, into 1 right tightens, opens, 60 over crest, slow 2 left, tightens narrow, 30, 4 left tightens, into 5 right, into 4 left, into 2 right long, opens, into 3 left, into 5 right, into don't cut 4 left, very long, opens, and 5 right over crest, opens long over crest through narrow grid, and keep left over crest, into 4 right, into slow 2 left, tightens don't cut, into 3 right over crest, into unseen, don't cut, 1 left long.
This event actually was proven a very easy event, and that's not because it's an easy event. That's because probably I've actually driven a lot around New Zealand, and by that time I knew the stages a little bit better and I knew what to do. And the gap at the end of the day was a 22-second gap. That was a lot. From Lettinen, it was a 13-second gap, but it was still quite a big gap, considering we faced more challenges on this hard difficulty after than this. Like this one was nothing compared to the Greek stages or the Scottish stage we had at the start of the video, but that was the end. We've completed another section of the scenario mode of Colin McRae, with the next one being around the third section, 1995 to 1998, the World Champion section. So that's around the time when Colin McRae won his first and only, I think, World Rally Championship. So after this, we also have a new challenge scenario mode, which I'm really looking forward to, as I can see that MG Group B car that I really want to drive out. But on this one, the third section, we have this Subaru S4, which I'm really looking forward to driving. But if you actually want me to make this video shorter, I can. I can make more episodes and the videos will be shorter. But a lot of you have been telling me to make those videos longer. Not DiRT 2.0, but in general, you want longer videos. So I decided it's a good opportunity to let you enjoy a long video around this time with the quarantine and all that, because there's pretty much nothing to do. So I guess it's a good thing for you. It's enjoyable for you to watch my videos, to watch my long videos. But yeah, that was it for today, guys. If you enjoyed, smash the like button. Make sure you join my Discord server to get updates on new videos, new songs, everything that has to do with the channel. Follow me on Twitch, on Twitter. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel. Thank you once again for 1K. And until next one, I'll catch you later. Goodbye.